Okay. Hello to anyone doing this recording later on. If you are going, actually, first, just a reminder for tonight or for any time you do the recording, please don't do anything that causes pain. If you need to stop and take a break, please do so, or modify or do some other exercise instead of what I am suggesting. If you're going to use the playlist, it is HIIT 4. Can go ahead and pull that up on your listening device. I'm getting it on mine. And you can go ahead and hit play in 3, 2, 1, play. I just have to turn down my volume a little because Spotify is always louder than Zoom. Okay, you can go ahead and lie down on your back while I readjust my camera. That looks good. Go ahead and come down onto your back, letting everything go. Maybe closing your eyes for a moment. Letting go of the day. Taking long, slow breaths in and out through your nose. And then go ahead and hug your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a nice squeeze, maybe rocking from side to side. And then come back to center, still holding onto your legs. Let your head gently rock from side to side, lifting over each shoulder. When you feel even on both sides, you can come back to center. And then bring your hands and feet up towards the ceiling. Your knees don't have to be straight. We're going to circle our wrists and ankles going outwards, only as much as feels okay for your wrists and ankles. And then you can reverse. And then let that go. Stretch your legs out long in front of you, stretching your arms up overhead, making yourself as long as possible. And then I devised a way for us to come up without putting weight on our wrists. So keeping yourself long, go ahead and roll onto your belly. It's a little awkward. You can bring your forearms to the floor. Use your forearms to come up to a seated position. And we're going to do seated cat-cow. If you prefer to do cat-cow on your hands and knees, you can. Sit up nice and tall. And then on your inhale, open your chest, arching your spine, maybe looking upwards. Exhaling as you round your spine, looking towards your belly button, and taking a few rounds like that, getting some nice movement in the spine. And then the next time that you finish rounding your spine, then we'll meet back in neutral. Then we're going to come onto our bellies one more time. So you could come down onto a forearm or however you need to get down onto your belly. We're going to set up for a forearm plank. So you can either have your hands flat on the floor, either way your arms are parallel, or it could be better for wrists to make fists, having your fist down on the floor. Go ahead and tuck your toes under, lifting your hips into your forearm plank. We're going to try to stay here for around 30 seconds. Think about reaching out long from your heels to the crown of your head. If you need a break at any point, you can bring your knees down, but still try to keep your core active, reaching out long with the crown of your head. Remembering to breathe, keeping your hips lifted. And then when you're ready, lift your hips up. You can walk your feet in a little bit. So we're coming into a dolphin-like position, or if you prefer downward dog, you can. Taking a couple breaths to lift your hips up toward the ceiling. And then go ahead and walk your feet carefully back, coming back into your forearm plank, or if you prefer a regular plank, you can do a regular plank. Taking a few more breaths here, really pressing into your forearms, reaching out long with the crown of your head. And then go ahead and lift your hips up, walking your feet in again, coming into your dolphin or downward dog. Taking a couple breaths to lift your sitting bones up high. And then gently bring your knees down to the mat. Then we are going to actually come down onto our backs for one more warm up. A little bit different today. Can go ahead and come down, setting up for a bridge. So feet close in towards your body, feet hip distance apart, and then lift your hips up toward the ceiling. And then go ahead and walk your feet out in front of you, maybe taking 3 or 4 steps, then walking them back in. We'll do that a few times. We're trying to keep our hips as lifted as possible. You can sort of walk on your heels. I find that a little bit easier. Maybe alternate which foot you start with each time. So walking out left, left, walking back in, walking out right, left, right. Still trying to keep your hips as lifted as you can. Remembering to breathe. And then the next time that you walk your feet back in, you can roll your hips back down to the floor. Stretch yourself out long on the floor. One more time, arms up overhead. And then roll to the other side from what you did before. Bring your forearms down to the mat, making your way up to stand, however you need to get there. And then stand with your feet hip distance apart. Go ahead and circle your arms backwards a few times. Just getting the heart rate up a bit, warming up the shoulders. And then you can reverse. And then you can let that go. And we are done with our warm-up. Hope you are feeling warm. You are going to get warmer. You can go ahead and find your weights if you want to use them. If your wrists are bothering you, I would suggest maybe not using them, but your call. We're going to bring our feet hip distance apart for our first set of squats. Our first set is going to be arms out in a T, and then we're going to squat full range of motion. So that's our first set. Second set, we are going to come down and we're going to pulse. And you can either keep your arms lifted straight up toward the ceiling, or you can also do a shoulder press. So those are our 2 sets. We're going to do 30 seconds each, 10-second break in between. So go ahead and set yourself up, feet hip distance apart, 3 sets of those, and go. So you're bringing your arms out to a T, squatting full range of motion. Make sure your knees are tracking over your toes, bringing your weight in your heels. And if this is at all too much of a squat on your knees, you can always just keep the squat a little smaller. And remembering to breathe. Nice. If you're not using weights, this might not look like much at first with the arms, but it definitely gets tiring after a while. And change, you can let that go. Gonna get ready for our pulse. Go ahead and come down into your squat, lifting your arms up and go. So we're staying down, pulsing, still trying to have this be controlled, weights in your heels. If you want to add that shoulder press, you can, whether with weights or without. Nice. Remember to breathe. Almost there. And change, maybe shake it out. 1 set down, 2 sets to go. Setting up with our feet hip distance apart and begin. So doing our full range of motion squat, arms out at a T. And if this gets too much at any point in the shoulders, you can always bring your arms down for a moment and then maybe bring them back up. Could also bring your hands to your shoulders if you need to. Nice. If you'd like, you can inhale to come up, exhale to come, or sorry, opposite, inhale to come down, exhale to come up. And change, shake it out. Getting ready for our pulses. And come down into your squat, lift your arms up and go. Keeping your weight in your heels. Try to keep your core active. Maybe you're doing that shoulder press. Nice. Whew. I assume you're using the same playlist as me. I didn't actually ask when you said music. I hope you like it. I worked really hard on it. And change, let that go. 2 sets down, 1 to go. I actually really love making playlists. I like being super and go, full range of motion. Super obsessive about the song order. It has to like have an arc. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I can't see, when I try talking, I just forget what we're doing. We're not lowering our arms each time, unless you need to lower them at some point. Yeah, like to make the arc with the playlist. Start slow, build up to something exciting, come back down, and change. Let it go, shake it out. One last set of pulses to go. Go ahead and come down into your squat, lift your arms up and go. Last set of pulses, weight is in your heels. Maybe you're lifting your arms up and down. Remembering to breathe. I apologize for this song. It's a little lewd. Almost there. And change. You can put your weights down. Grab a sip of water if you need to. And we're gonna get ready for our first set of cardio. We've got 2 different sets. First one, we're gonna bring our elbows out wide, and then we're gonna twist elbow to knee. We've done this one before. We're not trying to bend over, but you're more trying to bring your knee to your elbow. So it might not come all the way there, focusing on that twist. And then our second set is gonna be high knees. So your hands are parallel to the floor and you're bringing your knees up to your hands. If you wanna add a jump, you can. I find this pretty hard for some reason to jump with one knee bent like that, but you can try it here or there if you want. We've got 4 sets of those, 20 seconds each, 10-second break in between. Get ready and go. So elbow to knee, trying to think of bringing your knee up to your elbow rather than bringing your elbow down at all. Feeling that twist in the torso. You can speed it up if you'd like. Nice. Remembering to breathe and change. Getting ready for high knees. Bringing your hands up to parallel with the floor. And go. So lifting your knees up to your hands. You can do this as fast or slow as you want. If you want to try that jump here or there, you can, but it's a little weird feeling in my opinion. Nice. I can't tell if you're dancing, honey, or if you're just doing the move, but whatever it is, it looks cool. And change. Maybe shake it out. 1 set down, 3 to go. Bring your elbows up. If you remember which knee you started with, I don't remember. Coming into your twists. Trying to lift your knee up as high as you can. Moving with control. Starting to feel the burn. Nice job, and change. Maybe shake it out. Whew. Getting ready for high knees. Dance it out and go. Maybe you speed it up this time. Nice. Try to keep your spine long. Keep the crown of your head reaching up toward the ceiling. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna lose count. And change, shake it out. I think that's 2 full sets, right? 2 more to go. I think so. Getting ready for twist and go. Keep it going. Keep breathing. I'm really starting to feel this in the hip flexors. I don't know about you. Try to still keep your spine long. Bringing your elbows up to your knees and change, shake it out. Getting ready for high knees. Whew. And go. Try to keep your speed up if you can. That's probably why my hip flexors are dying. I chose 2 things where we're like bringing our knees up repeatedly. Whew. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And change, shake it out. Getting ready for our last set. Bringing your elbows out wide. And go. See if you can find even more of a twist than before, maybe focusing on turning towards whatever side you're twisting towards. Whew. Maybe slow it down if you need to. Maybe speed it up if you can, but try not to lose your form. And change. One last set of high knees. Whew. Arms up and go. Bring your knees up to your hands, maybe going a little faster. Whew. Almost there. I love this music video, if you've seen it, for Weapon of Choice with what's his name, and change. Let that go. We are done with that one. Grab a sip of water if you need one. Okay, we are gonna do our first set of lower body. Our first set, we're gonna have our feet hip distance apart. We're gonna lift our heels up, come down, and then kick with the right leg, and then lift our heels up, come down, and kick with the left leg, and try to make the kick pretty controlled, not like flailing around. And then our second set, we're gonna bring our feet out pretty wide, toes pointed out, coming down into a wide kneed squat. Make sure your knees are tracking over your toes. And then you're either gonna hold this if that feels okay. If that becomes too much on your knees at any point, you can also straighten your legs and come up onto your toes here and try to hold that. And you might have to bring your feet in a little bit. It's gonna be a hard balance test. We are gonna do 2 sets of those. 30 seconds each, 10-second break in between, feet hip distance apart to start, and go. So lifting your heels, kick with one leg, lifting your heels, come down, kick with the other leg, trying to keep this controlled. Noticing what's happening with your calves when you come up on your toes. Nice, keep it going. I can't remember the name of this. Oh, Steve Buscemi. It's a music video of Steve Buscemi and Change dancing and tap dancing through a hotel lobby. It's very good. Bring your feet out wide, coming down into your squat, and go. So you're either holding your squat. If at any point this feels like too much, you can come out of it, coming up onto the balls of your feet, but see if you can hold it. Remembering to breathe, keeping your spine long. Nice. Maybe you're starting to feel the burn. Maybe you've already been feeling the burn, not just starting. Nice, almost there. And change, you can let that go. Bring your feet back in. Only one more set of this one. You can bring your hands to your hips and go. Lift your heels, heels come down. Kick with one leg. Lift your heels, heels come down. Kick with the other leg. Keep going. I think I tend to do these things kind of slow, so you can speed it up if you want. Just trying to keep your form, not letting things become flaily or falling down, trying to still use control each time. Nice. And change. Bringing your feet out wide for our last wide knee squat, toes pointed out. Coming down into your squat and go. Holding our squat for 20 seconds, or no, 30 seconds. Maybe you come down a little lower if you can, only as far as feels okay for your knees. Nice, remembering to breathe. Trying to keep your shoulders relaxed if you can, not letting them hike upwards. Almost there. And change. You can straighten your legs, walk your feet in, shake it out. On to the second page. We are going to do our second set of, oops, forgot to turn off the timer. Second set of cardio. 2 different sets. First one, we're going to start at one end of our mat. I don't know what to do with my hands, actually, I forgot. And we're going to shuffle. I think I just did this. Keeping your elbows sort of in at your sides and shuffling from side to side as fast as you can. That's our first set. Second set, we're going to try to do forearm mountain climbers. If your wrists are bothering you, it's going to be a little bit of finagling to see how you want to come down to the ground each time, you know, if you don't want to put too much weight on your wrists coming down. But see if you can make it into your forearm plank in time to do some mountain climbers. But if you kind of find that you don't have enough time between sets, you know, to do that and get back up and down, you can always spend a little longer down in the mountain climbers. You don't need to listen to the, you know, the alternating of the sets, but we'll give it a try. Go ahead and come to one side of your mat, getting ready to shuffle and go. So shuffling as fast as you can from side to side. Think about moving your feet as fast as they go, keeping a slight bend in the knees. Feels a little funny. That's why we're here, to look funny. Nice. Keep it going. And change. So come mindfully down to your mat, however you need to get there. Bringing your forearms down, your knees can come down. Getting ready and go. So coming into your forearm plank and then bringing your knees in, doing some mountain climbers, trying to keep your hips low. I think this is enough time, actually. Don't need to do mountain climbers for that long. Remembering to breathe and change. Bring your knees down, coming mindfully back up to your feet. Just one more set of those. Try to start at the opposite end of your mat this time and go. So shuffling to one side and the other, keeping your feet moving as fast as they go. Nice. I feel like some sort of little creature, like a crab or a little bug. I'm starting to feel the burn and change. Coming down for our mountain climbers. Bringing your forearms down. Maybe you're doing the fists if that's better for your wrists. And step your feet back to your forearm plank. Coming into your mountain climbers. Bringing each knee in. Trying to keep your hips as low as you can. Of course, they're not going to be just like in a plank. They're a little bit peaked, but trying to keep them down. Remembering to breathe. And change. Bring your knees down. Where are we going from here? Oh, we're just doing glute bridges, so you don't even need to get back up. We already got up. That's okay. We're going to come down and do some glute bridges. Can go ahead and come down onto your back, setting your feet up hip distance apart. We're going to have a few different sets. I'm just going to call them out as we go, because if I say them all at the beginning, you'll probably forget what they are. Anyway, first set is going to be full range of motion. Go ahead and set up and begin lifting your hips up and down, full range of motion. Maybe this feels like a little bit of a break at first. Lifting your hips up and down. And now keep your hips up. Go ahead and come up onto your toes. And then we're going to do full range of motion from here. So lifting and lowering with your heels up in the air. Doing a few rounds of that. Really pressing into the balls of your feet. Trying to lift your hips up just as high as before. And then the next time that your hips come down, you can lower them back down for a moment. Bring your heels down and now lift your toes up so you're on your heels. And then we're going to do full range of motion on our heels, lifting and lowering. Maybe you're starting to feel a burn in the quads and the glutes. Taking a few more rounds of this. And then the next time your hips come down, come all the way down, bring your feet back to the floor, and then go ahead and lift your right foot up towards the ceiling. And now we're going to do full range of motion with our right foot up. Go ahead, lifting and lowering, trying to lift your hips just as high up as before, even though it's harder now on one foot. Pressing into your left foot. Imagining you could step on the ceiling with your right foot, lifting up as high as you can. Almost there. And then lower your hips down, bring your right foot down, lift your left foot up toward the ceiling, and we'll do our other side. So lifting and lowering, full range of motion. Trying to lift your hips up just as much as if both feet were on the floor. Almost there, nice job. Stepping on the ceiling with your foot. And then lower your hips down, lower your left foot down. One more time, we're gonna lift our hips up and then keep your hips up and pulse, trying to make this pulse come from your glutes. This is our last set of glute bridges. Almost there. And 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower your hips down. If you'd like, you can hug your knees in towards your chest, rock from side to side a little bit. And then we are going to come up onto our feet one more time. We are going to have the option to use weights if you would like. We just have 2 upper body moves. Our first one, we're going to stand with our feet hips distance apart, and then we're going to lift our arms up to shoulder height and down. Second set, we're going to come in just to a little bit of a bend in the knees, hinging a little bit forward so that you can do a nice tricep lift. If you're not doing weights, you might want to bring your arms back behind you and then just pulse your triceps. So we have 2 sets. We are just going to do 1 set of those, 30 seconds each, 10-second break in between. Start with your feet hip distance apart and begin lifting your arms up to shoulder height, trying to keep this slow and mindful. If you're not doing weights, try to imagine you're holding weights. So really moving as if there's some resistance, kind of pressing the air as if it were water, keeping your core active, really slowly, mindfully lifting and lowering. Nice. Almost there, and change, let that go. Get ready to come down into your little bit of a squat, hinging forward. And then when you're ready, go ahead, lifting your arms back behind you, or maybe you want to pulse. Either way, trying to make this come from the triceps, hinging from the shoulders. Nice. Think of keeping your spine long. Almost there. This is our last tricep thing today. Remembering to breathe. And change. You can let that go. Get rid of your weights if you're using them. We are done with those. We are going to come down onto our bellies. So coming down mindfully, being careful of your wrists. Coming all the way down to your belly, we're going to do 2 sets of prone. First set, we're going to lift both arms and legs, full range of motion. And this can be very small if you need it to be. Even just lifting a little bit off the floor is quite a good workout for the low back muscles. And then our second set, we're going to lift both up and pulse. Then after that, we'll do our forearm plank. And then 1 more set of prone. Go ahead and get ready. Oops, this timer. And begin. So lifting both arms, both legs, full range of motion, lifting and lowering, thinking of length more than height. Only coming up as far as feels okay for your back. If this is just way too much, no matter what, you can do opposite arm and leg. So lift left arm, right leg, and then right arm, left leg. But if it feels okay, see if you can do both at the same time, even if you're only coming up a centimeter off the ground. Lifting and lowering, and change. Let your forehead come down. Maybe shake your hips from side to side a little. Gonna get ready for our pulses. Come on up and pulse. Both arms, both legs. Can also try doing your arms in a cactus. See if that's a little bit less load on the low back. Trying to make these little controlled pulses. Okay, 10 million bonus points to whoever knows what cartoon this song is the theme song for. And also, I realize if you have a free Spotify account, you have ads, and then that makes the time and lower all the way down, shake it out. It makes us get off of each other. So maybe you're not on the same spot as me, but you'll know what I mean eventually. Okay, we're gonna come up to our forearm plank, which you can, as always, do either with your hands flat on the floor or fists. We're gonna do one set of regular forearm plank, and then we're gonna have the option to try some hamstring curls. I remember you said that was kind of crazy the first time we did it, but we're just gonna try a little bit. Maybe you've gotten better at them, who knows? So go ahead and set up your arms so that they're parallel. Tuck your toes, lifting your hips up into your forearm plank, trying to make one long line with the body, activating your leg muscles, really pressing into your forearms, or maybe you're doing fists. If you need a break at any point, bring your knees down, but still try to keep everything active, still getting that ab workout in. And then if you'd like to try some hamstring curls, just try one with one leg. And then try the other leg. And if that's feeling okay, maybe you want to do a few more of those. Just bending your knee, curling your heel in towards your glute. Maybe that's crazy. Maybe you want to stay in your forearm plank. Maybe you want to bring your knees down. Maybe then bring them back up. Just a few more seconds. Good job. And then you can gently bring your knees down, lower yourself all the way down to your belly. Let your forehead come down. Maybe shake out your hips. And we're gonna do our next set of curls. This time we're gonna do right arm, left leg, full range of motion, and then opposite, left arm, right leg, just one set of those. Go ahead and set on up and go. So lifting right arm, left leg, and lower, left arm, right leg, lower. Your head can just kind of come along for the ride, keeping the back of your neck long. Lifting and lowering, thinking of stretching out long. Oh wait, I just realized I said that wrong. I said we were gonna do right arm, left leg the whole time, then the opposite. So just keep doing whatever you're doing. If you're alternating, you can alternate. If you're doing same arm and leg each time, and change. Let that go, shake it out. Okay, so if you were doing one side, do the other side this time. If you were alternating, then alternate again. Sorry about that. Lifting and lowering, full range of motion. Think about stretching long each time. Stretching from your fingertips to your toes. Almost there. Nice job. And change, let that go, let your forehead come down. If it feels good, you can shake your hips out one more time. And now we are going to come up onto our backs for some abs. So however you want to get there, go ahead and find your block. We are going to do 2 sets of abs. First set, we are going to hold our block in one hand, and then we're going to be passing the block under our knees, alternating legs. And the goal is to keep your shoulder blades up as high as you can. So you don't need to be doing like a whole bicycle with like straightening your leg. We're just doing the block kind of for fun, just to sort of alternate sides, keeping our shoulder blades up. And then our second set, we are gonna hold our block between our feet. I like to do it at its narrowest width, stretching your feet up toward the ceiling. And then you can hold on to the sides of your mat with your hands. And then we're just gonna slowly, with control, lower our feet down and up. Maybe you're coming towards 45 degrees, but only coming as low down as you can while still keeping your low back pressed into the mat. So if you start to really like arch your back, that means you're coming down too low. So those are our 2 sets. Block passing between the legs and then holding with the feet. We're gonna do 30 seconds each, 10-second break, and 3 sets. Go ahead and set on up, holding your block in one hand, and begin. So you're passing your block under each knee, trying to keep your shoulder blades as high as you can, lifting up sort of from that sports bra strap, not lifting up just from your neck. And remembering to breathe. Nice. I see legs flailing, or not flailing, but you know, moving. Nice job. Whew. And change. Let your head come down. Go ahead and bring your block between your feet, stretching your feet up toward the ceiling, holding onto the sides of your mat, and go. So slowly lowering your legs down, maybe as much as 45 degrees, but keeping your low back pressing down into the mat. Maybe you're only lowering a tiny bit past 90. That's still a great workout. Finding whatever version of this is okay for you and gives you that ab workout. Remembering to breathe and change. You can bring your feet in, grab your block with your hand. Getting ready for our second set of block passes. And go, passing your block under each leg. Maybe you can feel a little bit of that twist, sort of feeling that oblique action a little bit. Maybe you're speeding it up a little if you can, trying to keep your shoulder blades up off your mat as much as you can. Nice job. Almost there. Whew. And change. Let your head come down. Take a moment to rest. And then bring your block between your feet, stretching your feet up toward the ceiling, holding your mat, and go. If your hip flexors are really starting to scream at you, as happens for me, you can see if keeping your knees bent helps with that. It's a little funnier. It's kind of hard to figure out how much to lower your feet, but sometimes that can help the hip flexors. Or maybe you're keeping your legs straight, trying to move slowly with control, keeping your low back on the floor. And change. Let that go. Grab your block. Last set. And go. Passing your block under your legs, keeping your shoulder blades as lifted as you can. Maybe you're going faster than before if you can. Maybe you're going slower. Just a disclaimer on this song. If you're at the Jesus song, I am very much non-religious. I just find this song very catchy and fun and kind of amusing. And change. Let your head come down. In case you're not using the playlist or your timing is off, it's Spirit in the Sky. Bring your block between your feet. Last set and go. Holding your mat, lowering your feet. Maybe you find a tiny bit more range of motion than last time, but still try to keep your low back pressed into the mat. Nice job. You can also try keeping your knees a little bit more bent. That can also help if your hip flexors are going crazy. And change. Let that go. You can move your block out of the way. We are done with abs. We are going to come into our side plank. Whoops, got to turn off the timer. If you want to roll your mat, you can roll your mat. I'm going to do elbow plank. I think we always do it on our elbow. I can't remember. But today we're doing it on our forearm. So you can roll up your mat if you need to, setting up so your elbow is right under your shoulder. And remember, as always, we have a few options. You can either do feet stacked and hips lifted, feet staggered. You can bring your top foot down, or you can also bring your bottom knee down. Either way, you're going to try to keep your hips as lifted as possible. First set is going to be static. And then second set, we're going to bring our knee to elbow. And I usually like to bring my bottom knee down to the mat for this one. So bringing elbow to knee, kind of like a sort of marionette type thing to the side. So go ahead and set yourself up. Decide what version you want to come into for your static forearm plank. Ready, and lift your hips up. If it feels okay, you can have your hands straight up toward the ceiling, or if you need to, you can always bring it down to your hip. Think about pressing into your whole forearm, not just your elbow. Keeping your hips lifted, keeping your neck a long extension of your spine, remembering to breathe. Nice. Whew. And then when you're ready, we're going to set up for our elbow to knee. So maybe you want to bring your bottom knee down or adjust, lifting your hips back up. And then go ahead and bring your elbow to knee, doing sort of a marionette type thing over to the side. Still keeping your hips lifted, noticing if they've sunk down. Nice. Whew. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. And you can lower down, come up off your forearm, just checking the time. Okay, I think we have time for our other thing. We're gonna just do one set of abs in between our 2 side plank sides. Go ahead and come down onto your back one more time. We're gonna lift our feet straight up toward the ceiling for this one. And then we're gonna reach up towards the outside of our pinky toe. So kind of reaching straight up toward the ceiling, imagining you're reaching for something really good. We are just gonna do 2 sets of those. Go ahead. Oops. And begin. So reaching up towards the outside of your pinky toe, imagining that there's something you really want up there. Maybe an ice cream cone, maybe vacation, maybe something else, a present, a grilled cheese sandwich, and change. You can let that go. Maybe let your knees come in for a moment. Maybe rock from side to side. We're going to do that one more time. Lift your feet up and go. Reaching up towards your pinky toe. Again, trying to lift up from your abs, not just from your neck. Lifting straight up toward the ceiling from your abs. Almost there. Reach for that ice cream cone and change. Let that go. Okay, second side plank. And that is probably going to be our last thing before stretching. So go ahead and roll up your mat if you need to. Set up your elbow right under your shoulder. Set up your feet. Maybe you want to do the same version as on the first side or maybe different. And then when you're ready, go ahead and lift your hips up, keeping them as lifted as you can, keeping your neck long, pressing into your forearm. Nice. Notice if your hips are lowering, try to keep them lifted. And then slowly with control, you can lower down, set up for your elbow to knee, however you need to. And then go ahead and bring elbow to knee, keeping your hand stretching up toward the ceiling in between, finding that little marionette move, keeping your hips lifted. Nice. Almost there. Okay, I know I said this was probably the last thing, but I think we have time for one more ab exercise. Sorry, not sorry. 3, 2, 1, and lower your hips back down. Come up off your forearm. Come onto your back one more time. This is the last thing before stretching, I promise. We're just gonna do one set of bicycles. Ready and go. Bringing your elbow to knee, trying to really twist in the torso. Stretching your feet out long in between. Lifting your shoulder blades up off the mat. Nice job. Almost there. And change. Now we're done. You are champions. Go ahead and hug your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a good squeeze. Maybe rocking from side to side. And then go ahead and stretch your feet up toward the ceiling. Maybe circle your ankles. Maybe flexing your feet. And bring both feet down to the mat and cross your right ankle over your left knee. Coming into your figure 4 stretch, maybe picking your left foot off the floor, holding behind your left thigh, sending your right knee away from you. Breathing into the outer right hip. Thinking about all the hard work you just did. And then you can let your left foot come down, uncross your right ankle, cross your left ankle over your right knee, maybe picking up your right foot, sending your left knee away from you, keeping your left foot flexed, stretching that outer left hip. And then if you picked your right foot up, you can bring it back down, uncross your left ankle, stretch your left leg out long in front of you, bringing your right foot up toward the ceiling, and then let your right leg come across your body towards the left, holding it in your left hand, stretching that IT band, taking a couple breaths here. And then slowly bring your right foot back up toward the ceiling. You can bring your right foot down, stretching it out in front of you. Bring your left foot up, and then letting it come across your body towards the right, holding it in your right hand, stretching that outer seam of the leg. And then slowly let your leg come back up to center. Hug both knees in towards your chest again. We're gonna make our way up to sit for just a moment. So you can rock upwards on your spine or come to your side. Sitting in a cross-legged seat. And then let your your right arm come across your body. I need to take my timers off so I can actually do this. Stretching your shoulder and your arm. And then you can gently let that go, stretching your opposite arm across your body, trying to keep your spine long. Then let your hands come down to your knees and do a couple of neck half circles, taking your time. Bringing each ear towards each shoulder. Breathing deeply through your nose. Maybe let your head hang in the center. And then come back to center. Bring your hands to either side of you. Sweep your arms up toward the ceiling, giving yourself a high five. Great job, everyone. You did it. I'm going to stop the recording.